Greetings all, greetings. Today it's sunny, but sky is filled with clouds. Anyway, time will change, days will change. Today, I want to talk to you about something that I know many of us don't really think about, and that we heard that the life on human, African was the first man on the planet. But there's the something we don't comprehend with all this, and we don't learn history, we don't study history. If you talk to the African's history is about his village, his tribe. Even with the way the continent is divided up today, it's still not even country, the history of the country is still not even taught. We know more about British history, American, French history than we know about the state next to us. Whether you're in Senegal, what do you know about Morocco? Where the people from Morocco came from? People from Sudan. What do you know about the people from Egypt? Where did they come from? The funny thing is that we heard some names that we don't even bother to look at, like Neanderthal. The Neanderthal preceded us. We are replacing the Neanderthal. And guess who's the progeny of the Neanderthal? The same European Caucasian that is wreaking havoc on the world today. That Neanderthal gene is dying out. And that's what it's all about, survival. When they are cornered now, seeing that the rest of the world is closing in on what they consider to be their place, controlling the planet. You gotta understand that they are our traditional enemy. Who has, just think about history, go read some history about Africa. It wasn't the Romans who came to Africa first. It wasn't the Greek who came to Africa first. It was the Turks. They ruled Egypt. Yes, not today's Turk, but the people who inhabited the area of Turkey and along the coast of what they call what became Phoenicia and today's Palestine. They came into Egypt and they ruled Egypt for about almost 400 years. A little over 400 years. We don't know that history. Africa don't know that history. Then you got a follow-up to that where the Arabs, which is a mixture of the same people with that of the Iranians and Babylonians, Akkadians, from that area, mixed with Africans that came into Africa. The Africans from North Africa, Egyptians now, converted to their religion, brought it into West Africa. And then when they conquered Spain, Turkey, and move into what they call the stands, Afghanistan and all that today. Many of the leaders in the army were Africans. And something funny happened after the Roman Catholic Church began to take over the place spot where the Roman state fell, and the Roman Catholic Church took over the role as the ruler and leader of what they call Europe. And they pulled together all the little tribal factions that were fighting against each other to push the Muslims out of primarily France and Germany, not really like Hungary, I'd say. Around Hungary all the way back, and the last one was Spain. After Spain was freed, they turned on Africa, especially the Hebrew people, because they had helped the Muslims to run the countries that the Muslims had conquered. But the Africans became the target of European wrath. And after the Europeans successfully arrived in South America, the Americas really, after they successfully established roots in the Americas and took the land, Africans became the how would I put it, enemy number one. And the Europeans put in place a system that until today has the worst of the world on their side against the Africans. Most of us don't study the history, the foundational history that led to today. Every African in America see themselves as children of slaves. They don't go past, history don't go past slavery. Further back, no. Any of them who try to connect anything past slavery would say we were Indians. We are the Indians of the Americas. But no connection to Africa whatsoever. They don't know that the Caucasians were our traditional enemy. Traditional. Because there's always a struggle for power on the planet. Like I said, I went back to the Turks and Africa. Show how you can go back and look at that and see the Turks ruling Egypt. There's always been a struggle for power on the planet. Somebody has to rule over somebody. That's the way it is. That's the way the planet is. It will never change. There's not going to be anybody arriving that's going to change it. No spaceman, no mythological creature. Nobody's going to change it. That's the way it's going to be. And that is written in your Bible. For those of you who read it and don't see it. There'll always be poor. That's written there too. There's always going to be the poor. The poor will always be with us. The sick will always be with us. It's written there. Some people, I can understand that it's just like some Africans hate their African skin. The reality is going to be the reality whether you like it or not. And you have to live with it. If you want to change it, then you got to do something to change it. Your leaders are not going to change it because they're benefiting from the system. Even with the suffering that they see, they come out of their palaces and if they don't build it and put a fence on it for 3 miles around that don't let anybody else but their closest allies in the army in, then when they step out the door of their palaces, poverty lines the streets that they gotta walk. And they will not change that because they don't see you after they go through the gates of their house. And most of the time, they're inside those gates or somewhere in Europe or America while you're at home dying, not interested in that. Take a look at Haiti today. They tell you Haiti is burning, but not far from where all the turmoil is going on live people who have the wealth of Haiti in their hands. And those same gangs that are killing, ravaging Haiti are not going into that area. Why? Anyway, we have to learn history. Most of us, before we got a passport to go to Africa, never left the block that we were born on. Came home from the hospital, never left that area. Went to school in that area. Most don't go to college, so they stay in that area. And the 5% that go to college leave that area, go to the city not far away, and don't leave that area. Only today you're seeing a few people getting passports and say, you know what, I'm tired of this, I'm going to Africa. But don't know the history of what you're getting into. And when you land in Africa, you think it's going to be easier, but it's not. You're facing a different challenge now. And people are beginning to talk about the challenges, even though the majority are still painting this mythological story about Africa so they can make some YouTube dollars. Anyway, gotta deal with that subject sometime later. Hope you're enjoying your day. Please look into the history before you come to Africa. I'm not talking about, I'm looking to see what life is like in Ghana or Tanzania or Kenya or Gambia and say, oh, okay, I choose to go to that one because it seems better there. No, I'm talking about the history that brought us to the position where Africa is in today. The Africa that you're going to, there's much more to it than the place where you're going to live. And it's all going to affect you. These people are about to end their war in Europe and they're coming back to Africa. And you better know your history, know why it's like this so you can plan. All right. Peace. Enjoy your day.